Welcome to Elite Buzz, your inside scoop on the glamorous world of celebrities. From exclusive lifestyle insights to the latest star-studded headlines, we bring you the stories everyone's talking about. Stay tuned for your daily dose of fame, fortune, and everything in between. Beneath the wide-open Georgia sky, where the air carries the crisp scent of morning dew and freshly cut hay, sits a farm that feels like something out of a storybook. But this is no ordinary farm. This is the private retreat of hip-hop legend Nas. Now, don't let the peaceful silence fool you. Every fence post, every stretch of grass here holds a piece of a bigger story. A story of survival, ambition, and the rise of one of hip-hop's most iconic voices. To understand how Nas traded the rooftops of Queensbridge for this southern sanctuary, you have to go back. Back before the farm gates, before the platinum records, before the world knew his name. Back to the gritty blocks of Queens, New York, where a young Nasir Jones learned how to turn struggle into poetry. Born September 14, 1973, in the shadow of the towering projects, Nasir bin Olu Dara Jones grew up with music and hustle in his blood. His father, Olu Dara, was a jazz musician. His mother, Fanny Ann, a postal worker. Between them, Nas inherited rhythm, resilience, and a deep awareness of the grind it takes to survive. But the streets were his real classroom. The soundtrack of his youth wasn't just jazz. It was the echo of sirens, the chatter of hustlers, and the raw pulse of hip-hop taking shape. By 13, Nas had dropped out of school, but that didn't end his education. It just changed the teacher. The streets, the beats, the rhymes, they became his textbooks. And slowly, the boy from Queensbridge began shaping the words that would one day change the game. It all started with his brother, Jabari Jungle Jones, the one who first pulled him into the Queens rap battles. That's where Nas sharpened his blade, and it didn't take long for his raw storytelling to stand out in a crowd full of hungry MCs. Then came the spark, 1991. Main Source drops Live at the Barbecue. Nas spits a verse so electric, so sharp, so fearless that hip-hop had no choice but to pay attention. That moment cracked the door open. In 1994, at just 20 years old, Nas dropped Illmatic, a debut hailed as a masterpiece. The New York Times crowned him hip-hop's poet, and Rolling Stone cemented it among the greatest rap albums ever. For a kid from Queensbridge, it wasn't just a release, it was a coronation. But the throne came with battles. Through the late 90s, Nas fought label politics, shifting sounds, and a fiery feud with Jay-Z. By 2001, the beef climaxed with Ether, a diss track so powerful it revived his career and etched his name into rap history. The rivalry eventually cooled into respect, but Nas had made his point. He wasn't going anywhere. Offstage, he studied a new playbook, business. Investing in startups, tech, and real estate, his sharp instincts paid off with big wins like Ring and Coinbase, proving his genius wasn't limited to music.
And that balance, the artist and the entrepreneur, began to shape the life he lives now. Even in the 2020s, Nas never slowed his stride. In 2021, he won his first Grammy for King's Disease. Nearly 3 decades after his debut, the world was reminded Nasir Jones isn't just part of hip-hop history, he's still writing it. As hip-hop shifted, streaming platforms taking over, social media rewriting the rules, new sounds rising and falling, Nas never faded. He stayed relevant the same way he always had, by staying true to his roots while never being afraid to adapt. That balance, grit, vision, and flexibility took him a long way from the crowded hallways of Queensbridge all the way to the wide-open fields of Decatur, Georgia. Welcome to Decatur Farm, where hip-hop meets country. The moment you roll up the long driveway, you realize this place isn't just a retreat, it's a statement. Stretching across acres of rolling land, it feels equal parts countryside escape and music mogul dreamscape. At the center stands the main house, a classic Southern-style home painted in warm earth tones, wide porches wrapping around it like an open invitation. It's the kind of place where you can picture Nas himself sitting back with a glass of sweet tea, letting the Georgia breeze do the talking. But make no mistake, this isn't just some weekend getaway, this is a working property. Stables, garden plots, and a barn straight out of a glossy coffee table book all add to its character. Step inside though, and that's where the real surprise hits. The vibe isn't celebrity flash, it's warmth, comfort, and authenticity. Hardwood floors carry you through open rooms, each one telling a story. Art lines the walls, some collected from Nas's travels, others crafted by rising Black artists he's chosen to support. The living room centers around an oversized sectional couch, big enough to hold an entire studio session, with floor-to-ceiling windows framing nothing but endless Georgia green. And the kitchen? Let's just say it's the kind of space that could convince even a die-hard New Yorker to learn a few Southern recipes.
In the kitchen, style meets soul. High-end appliances sit comfortably beside rustic farmhouse touches, reclaimed wood beams stretching overhead, copper pots hanging in easy reach, and a massive island that doubles as Nas's personal test kitchen. Friends say he's been known to try out recipes he picks up from chefs he's worked with or dishes he's tasted while traveling. Step outside, though, and the farm unfolds into its own little world. A vegetable garden that looks like it could feed an entire neighborhood, rows of fruit trees heavy with color, a chicken coop so polished it feels more like a boutique hotel for hens. Out in the pastures, horses roam free, and tucked away somewhere on the property, a fishing pond, where Nas is known to disappear for hours, just him, the water, and probably a beat running through his head. But don't mistake this for Nas playing farmer. This is bigger than that. Decatur Farm is equal parts wellness retreat and creative sanctuary. It's where he hosts late-night jam sessions on the porch, morning workouts on the grass, and the kind of backyard BBQs where a casual guest list might include DJ Khaled or Rick Ross, dropping by like neighbors. It's a different kind of hip-hop luxury. No flashing lights, no velvet ropes. Just wide skies, homegrown food, and a piece you can't put a price on. But here's the thing. This farm is only one side of Nas's world. Because when he craves the pulse of the city, the energy, the rhythm, the skyline, he's got another home waiting. And that one tells a very different story. In November 2021, Nas purchased a $3.5 million 10-acre Calabasas estate, blending luxury with lifestyle. The home features 10-foot ceilings, limestone floors, and abundant natural light. Custom design includes a limestone fireplace, chef kitchen with Viking appliances, granite counters, butler's pantry, and a wine cellar for entertaining. Outdoors, the property offers a grotto-style pool with waterfall and slide, spa, fire pit, BBQ station, and mountain views. The master suite boasts a sauna, soaking tub, dual walk-in closets, gym, and private balcony. With an elevator, 8-car garage, surround sound, advanced security, and climate control, it's a complete private retreat. And for Nas, the style doesn't end at the front door. It continues in his garage. Nas's car collection isn't just about horsepower, it's about storytelling. Each vehicle reflects a chapter of his journey, a mix of grit, style, and legacy. Take the Cadillac Escalade, his moving throne. Big, bold, and unmistakably American, it's been his go-to for years. Picture Nas on a rainy New York night, the city lights dancing across wet pavement as he sinks into plush leather seats, his own tracks pulsing through a Bose system. It's the SUV he leans on for family trips, studio runs, and pulling up with presents. Then comes the BMW M3. Not just any, but a custom purple one, as rare as his lyrical voice in hip-hop. He first pushed it down the Pacific Coast Highway, the ocean breeze slipping through the cabin while the inline six purred like a secret only he knew. Light, agile, and razor-precise, it's his escape car, more about joy than necessity. A reminder that survival isn't the only prize, savoring the ride is too. And then there's the crown jewel, the 1988 AMG Mercedes 190e. More than vintage, it's motorsport history. Nas found his in pristine condition, a collector's dream. Driving it through Calabasas back roads, every gear shift felt deliberate, every growl pure 1980s power.
This one isn't for daily use, it's for weekends, for moments when he wants to feel both legend and man. Together, these cars mirror his empire, worth over $80 million by 2025, not just built on beats and business, but on the balance between dominance, style, and heritage. If you are enjoying this update on Nas's Decatur farm and lifestyle, give this video a like and share your thoughts in the comments. Your voice matters in the conversation. Income and net worth. Nas's fortune didn't just come from music. It came from a lifetime of smart plays. One of the biggest was in 2014 when he invested in a little home security startup called Ring. At first it seemed like just another deal, but when Amazon bought Ring for over $1 billion, Nas's stake turned into a massive payday, cementing him as one of hip-hop's sharpest business minds. But the foundation for it all traces back to 1994 and Illmatic. The album didn't sell huge numbers at first, but Nas had foresight. He negotiated ownership of his masters, ensuring that every stream, sync, or placement funneled money directly back to him. That decision created a steady income stream that has lasted decades. Touring added another layer. In the late 1990s and 2000s, Nas's shows weren't just concerts, they were cultural events. Fans filled arenas, snapping up limited edition merch and turning tours into multi-million-dollar runs. Instead of blowing that money, Nas reinvested it, laying the groundwork for Queensbridge Venture Partners, his venture capital firm. Through it, he's backed over 100 companies, from Dropbox to Coinbase. Endorsements and brand deals followed, most famously with Hennessy, a perfect fit for his timeless, authentic persona. Acting roles, documentaries, and collaborations kept expanding his reach, stacking millions beyond the booth. The result? Estates in Decatur and Calabasas, a car collection blending classics with luxury, and the freedom to turn down deals that don't align with his vision. For Nas, money has always been more than flex. It's been freedom. Every dollar represents foresight, patience, and a long-game mentality. But his empire isn't just profit-driven, it's rooted in purpose. In 2010, his Distant Relatives project with Damian Marley pledged every royalty check to charities across Africa, funding schools, healthcare, and farming. He's also invested deeply in the next generation through Peyton's Records, a non-profit after-school music program that gives urban youth access to production tools, songwriting workshops, and industry knowledge, all for free. His giving often comes quietly. At Art Basel 2011, he painted live on stage, sold the piece for $14,000 and donated every dollar. No press release, no spotlight, just impact. And in 2013, Harvard University honored him by establishing the Nas Jones Hip Hop Fellowship, supporting scholars exploring hip-hop's cultural and political power. It was proof of what Nas always believed, that the art born on the streets deserved recognition at the highest academic level. For Nas, legacy isn't just about platinum plaques or investment wins. It's about building, giving, and ensuring that the next Illmatic can come from anywhere. From African villages to Ivy League lecture halls, every effort shares the same thread. They're deeply personal. Every project, every act of giving connects back to his own journey and his belief that hip-hop's true power lies not just in the music, but in the lives it can change. Nas's philanthropy carries the same authenticity that runs through his music, an unshakable refusal to forget where he came from, and a commitment to lifting others in ways that create real, lasting change. That balance between profit and purpose is what makes him not just wealthy, but truly rich in every sense of the word. Because while the world sees the lyrical genius and the sharp businessman, those closest to him know his greatest investments can't be measured in numbers. They're found in family, community, and the people he's determined to see rise with him. And that brings us to the most personal chapter of all, away from the stage, away from the boardrooms, into the spaces that keep Nas grounded, even as his empire continues to grow. Personal life. Nas became a father at just 20 years old. On June 15, 1994, just months after the release of Illmatic, his daughter Destiny was born, with then-fiancé Carmen Bryan. Destiny grew up in the spotlight, not only because of who her father was, but also because of the drama that surrounded him. Years later, Carmen would reveal an affair with none other than Jay-Z, Nas's fiercest rival at the time, pouring fuel on one of the most infamous beefs in hip-hop history. Over the years, Nas's love life has drawn plenty of attention. He's been linked to stars like Mary J. Blige and Nicki Minaj. But the relationship that made the biggest headlines? His marriage to Kelis, a union that was as public as it was complicated. In 2005, after 2 years of dating, Nas and Kelis tied the knot in Atlanta. To the outside world, they look like one of hip-hop's most glamorous couples. But behind closed doors, cracks were already forming.
By April 2009, those cracks split wide. 7 months pregnant, Kelis filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. Just 3 months later, on July 21st, she gave birth to their son, Knight. The divorce was finalized in May 2010, but the drama didn't fade with the ink on the papers. Years later, in 2018, Kelis accused Nas of physical and emotional abuse during their marriage. Nas fired back with his own claims, saying she had been verbally and physically abusive and had made it hard for him to see their son. Both denied the other's allegations, and while the truth may never be fully known, one thing was clear: the scars of their marriage lingered. Eventually, Kelis remarried and started a new family, while Nas focused on co-parenting Knight, though not without challenges. Still, family has a way of circling back. In June 2020, Nas reunited with his ex-fiancée Carmen Bryan for Destiny's 26th birthday, a quiet moment that reminded everyone that no matter the history, family has always been at the core of his life. But the obstacles in Nas's personal journey weren't limited to love and family. Some of the hardest blows came from elsewhere, legal and financial battles that threatened to overshadow his success. In September 2009, the IRS filed a federal tax lien against him, claiming he owed over $2.5 million in unpaid taxes dating back to 2006. By 2011, that figure ballooned to more than $6.4 million. Things grew so serious that by early 2012, the IRS began withholding a portion of his royalties from BMI and ASCAP until the debt was cleared. For a man celebrated for his business instincts and street smarts, it was a humbling reminder. Even icons can get caught in the web of red tape. On New Year's Eve 2011, Nas was set to perform in Luanda for $300,000, but he never took the stage. The fallout turned chaotic. American promoter Patrick Alaco and his son, who arranged the show, were ambushed at gunpoint by a furious local promoter and jailed in Angola. Even with U.S. Embassy intervention, they spent 49 days under house arrest before being freed, only after Nas repaid the full $300,000. For Nas, it was more than a missed show. It became another reminder of his life's balance: legend and man, spotlight and silence, setbacks and resilience. And maybe that's the real lesson here. In a world always chasing the next big thing, Nas proves that the greatest luxury isn't money, cars, or mansions. It's living life entirely on your own terms. Thank you for watching Elite Buzz. We bring you the latest in celebrity news, glamorous lifestyles, and behind-the-scenes moments from the stars you love. Share your thoughts in the comments, subscribe for more, and join us as we uncover the world of fame and luxury.